Squatters in Spain. It's been a massive problem for many, many years. This is a different concept for the video today. It's a bit more news type. But the squatter crackdown, Spain's swift new law, puts homeowners first rather than the squatters. If you've got a holiday home in here in Spain, if you own any property in Spain and you don't stay in the country, you'll know that it's one of the worries that you have, that you're going to come back to your property one day and you'll find squatters in it. You may have insurance, you may have bars across the windows, you may take as much security precautions as possible, but we all know that it is an issue here in Spain. The Basque Party has proposed legal changes to Spain and their eviction laws to be able to evict squatters within 48 hours. And they're hoping to get that decree approved on the 10th of January. So, what is the new squatter law and how will it affect you? The new anti-squatter law in Spain aims to clamp down on illegal squatters to put them out in a matter of hours rather than lengthy court cases, or having the fact that some people have now taken to investing money into paying companies to basically make a payment to the squatters to get them out of the property, which isn't ideal. And then when you do get the property back, you tend to find that it's needing completely refurbished. And that tends to be why there's a lot of properties on the market, especially in this region. We've seen it all the way from Alicante all the way down. You see properties that are empty and they have been everything's been taken out of them. It's been stolen, let's face it. They've basically had squatters in and they've taken everything out and sold it off. Squatters beware. Spain's Congress has just dropped a legislative bombshell, this article says, as they promise to evict occupus faster than ever before. The debate across the country is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? I think that many people with property in Spain would say it's a good thing, being able to get squatters out the house or property quicker. The lawmakers, it's a twisty soap opera in Spain's Congress, which saw an unexpected alliance and embarrassed during the vote. It's like, I don't want to get into the political side of it, but the Basques party, a minority party in the Spanish government, a bit like what the Scottish National Party are within the UK government, but they are in joint power. So let the political side deal with that, and let's just make this about what's actually happening. So what is actually changing with the law for squatters here in Spain? The reform targets the Article 245 and 202 of the Penal Code, making squatting a fast-track offence and unlawful entry to be dealt with quicker. Think of eviction in 15 days or less. No more standard trials dragging out for months. People just want swift justice. Now, the really, really sad thing, or surprising thing, is Spain currently has over 15,000 illegal occupied properties in Spain, and according to the Ministry of Interior, areas like Toledo are rife, and this should help get the people out the properties quicker. Hopefully it'll bring some stability to the house rental market, as owners they'll feel more protected, and I think that can only be a good thing. It can only be a good thing for the long-term rental market, and hopefully it'll bring down prices for rents, because rents here in Spain have went absolutely through the roof. There's one tactic that squatters have been using to make sure that they have a receipt to show that they've been in the property for more than 48 hours. They order a pizza and get it delivered to the house, strangely enough, which is absolutely fun, just unbelievable to think that a simple receipt as getting a pizza delivered can help them stay in the property quicker. But with the new law, hopefully it will speed things up. Now, there is a sticking point. If children are involved, the social services step in to assess the situation, potentially dragging out the process. But protection of minors is a priority here in Spain, even under the new expedited system. Now, the reform doesn't stop squatters. A move to curb the speculative investment. Congress has also scrapped the controversial Golden Visa programme, and now that was scrapped because people were coming in and buying up 2 or 3 properties to then let them out. and staying in one property that's maybe worth, say, 200,000, and then buying a couple of other properties to make sure that they got the golden visa, and then they could rent those properties out. They have took away, I'm not going to talk about that in this video because that's a completely different video altogether. Critics say the move will hurt Spain's luxury property market, but supporters argue that it prioritises homes for low-income residents over holiday villas and the wealthy. And let's face it, that is a massive, massive issue in Spain. The protests that we saw during the summer were not protests against tourists directly. It was protests against people coming in and buying up property, and the property then sitting empty, and then having over the just unbelievable rentals that local Spaniards cannot afford to rent. People then put them out as holiday homes, and that then becomes a property that sits empty for half the year. Whether you like it or not, Spain is a fantastic destination, and it will always be a place that people now, rather than come just on holiday, want their own little bit of paradise, and they will buy properties in the area. But is there going to be a property boom or a property bust? I don't think so. That's a different video altogether as well. But the fact is that squatters are living rent free. Their days are numbered, but where will all these people go? Some will be forced to do the unthinkable and actually pay for rent. Is that so? How does the new the Spanish squatter law affect you, and what must homeowners do to start the eviction process? First of all, they may change the housing reform, which is aimed at protecting squatters. That's the first change. Situations of vulnerability. Owners must select a time exact and date for the proposed eviction before starting the legal proceedings. This suppose will allow tenants and the landlords to come to a resolution outside the courts. In order to start a basic legal procedure, the owner must be able to prove that he is the larger holder of the property. He is the landlord that owns more than if he's a landlord that owns more than 10 urban properties, excluding garages and storage areas, that's a different thing altogether. In the event that the landlord is a larger holder, he must include the eviction demand where the squatter is the primary person. What happens next? The lawsuit requesting an eviction is filed. If vulnerability is proven, then the court will carefully assess the case. The law allows the process to be suspended for 2 months in the case of private landlords, and 4 in the case of illegal persons who are allowed in the region a certain amount of time to get it sorted out. Anyway, the rental negotiation agency in Spain has been ferocious in its complaints about the new regulations, complaining that it can throw homeowners into even more legal uncertainty. The legal uncertainty would keep many landlords and investors from the rental market. I think that there lies the problem that we have here in Spain, is that there are so many properties that are illegally occupied, but at the same time rentals have went through the roof. So with the new law coming in, hopefully on the 10th of January, it will make a difference. And there are, I've seen areas where there's housing developments and it is all squatters. I've been to one area just outside of Torrevieja, and there is a street of 30 odd houses, and I think 10 or 15 of them are full of squatters. Some of them have made the houses look quite nice, but they don't own the property, and there lies the problem. The fact that it's took the Basque Party to get this up and running, they proposed the swift legal change in Spain's Congress that would allow courts to consider court orders and evictions within 48 hours for occupying people's homes. The proposal has been registered and amended, and the bill derives from a decree which goes through the civil service local government. But anyway, it's all way above my head, this stuff. I'm sure that someone will cover it that has more of a legal knowledge of what goes on in Spain. The Basque nationalists argue for modifications on the ground that the social reality shows that squatting in properties cause obvious harm to their owners, as well as damaging the environment and the cause of problems of coexisting, fire risk, etc., and the gradual degradation of the urban environment of properties nearby. They warn against certain groups who operate for the economic benefit of it's basically illegal immigrants, isn't it? And they're talking about illegal immigrants that are in squatting homes. People that have bought homes and that have had squatters in their homes, it's a traumatic time for them trying to get the people out of their properties. When you buy a property in Spain, you have to be aware and you have to have your due diligence done that is in an area that doesn't have squatters, but the reality is that there are squatters out there, and hopefully this will help bring down rentals in Spain, and you'll get property developers saying we don't want rentals to come down. Well, if you don't want rentals to go down, how are people going to stay in the properties? And if you don't want rentals to go down, it's going to push up the price of goods in the shops and the price of the food that you go out to eat in restaurants and the beer and wine that you drink there. So anyway, that's just a little update. Once we find out a little bit more in the next couple of weeks, if this goes through on the 10th of January, it'll be interesting to watch. This proposal is in line with the anti-squatting law that purposes evictions within 24 hours, which was approved by the Spanish Upper House. The majority of the PP, which support of the hard right Vox. Well, there you go. Just a little update. Let's hope that they do manage to do something. But it's like you say, if there's 15,000 homes that have squatters in them, where are these 15,000 people going to 15,000, well, even more? Because there's probably about 30,000 people. There won't be one person just staying in the home. There'll be multiple occupants. And let's face it, the rental market isn't too kind at the moment.